Thanks, Vicky. It's Tom Chilton on pole on his first outing as a manufacturer's driver for Vauxhall, but the two Seats of Jason Plato and James Thompson are right with him. Team RAC's Colin Turkington is fourth ahead of touring car legend Fabrizio Giovanardi, while Gavin Smith is sixth ahead of Team Alfred's new boy, Gordon Shedden. Mike Jordan's eighth ahead of Rob Collard, James Kay, David Pinkney, Mark Proctor and Jason Hughes. Fiona Leggett is 14th, one place ahead of reigning champion Matt Neal, while new drivers Martin Bell and Mark Smith complete the grid. We're all set for 24 laps, the first round of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship of 2006. Tom Chilton on pole position. He's got Jason Plato alongside him on the front row of the grid. It's Vauxhall versus Seat, and that's likely to be the manufacturer's battle. Yeah, Chilton makes a great start. Plato, terrible start, and it's a great one from Colin Turkington in the orange MG Team RAC, and the Vauxhall are trying to muscle their way past the Seat. Giovanardi getting alongside Jason Plato. Gavin Smith made a great start, and now it's Giovanardi versus Plato and James Thompson as they head up towards the hairpin.
Chilton, an absolutely fantastic start. The Seats just went backwards. Turkington made a blinder, as did both of the other Vauxhalls, and so now it's the Seats. Can they get past the Vauxhalls? And Chilton's away with Turkington absolutely all over him.
Safety car has been is on standby, I gather. We've got the Alpha just running wide. Problems for David Pinkney as well. Oh, another problem as well. Safety car has been called. It will be coming out on track, but it's Chilton who leads at the moment from Turkington. They're still racing at this stage. Also well up there is Gavin Smith. There is the safety car. Then they catch it up as they come across the start-finish line, racing to the line, and then they'll lost back into position, and they have to coast around behind the safety car. Let's just take a look at the start of the race from Giovanardi's point of view.
Yeah, great start. He hooks up well. Thompson doesn't move over to block him, and in fact he gets alongside. Plato just misses that barrier. Well, maybe it's just a good job he didn't have too much local knowledge, or he might have backed out of it, but it worked out well.
That's right, yes, an experienced Brands Hatch driver might have thought, oops, I shouldn't do this. But Giovanardi, great start. Now, we're going to see them getting back up to race speed now. The safety car has headed into the pit lane, and Tom Chilton's going to lead them onto another racing lap now. Just the one lap under safety car, that will be added to the race distance, and Chilton leads from Colin Turkington in second place. Third place for Gavin Smith. So Vauxhall first and third, but Colin Turkington on the attack there in the orange Team RAC car.
Yeah, he seems to have really got the car hooked up well. Chilton is actually definitely struggling at the moment to get some temperature in the tyres, and Turkington's all over him.
So Chilton, he's got experience of winning races, but he's never won a race for Vauxhall. And remember, Vauxhall are looking for their 100th win in British touring cars here at Brands Hatch today. What a start that could be for Tom Chilton's Vauxhall career. But there's a long way to go in this race. He's got Colin Turkington, who's won races in this car around the Indy circuit in the past. Took his first ever win here. He loves this place. Look behind, and the Seat squeezing their way past Giovanardi there. Plato's already past Thompson on the inside in the yellow and silver Seat. Now trying to get past the Italian. Look at Matt Neal. Look at where Matt Neal is.
Matt Neal's come right from the back, and James Kay's with him as well. Doing a fabulous job in the Synchro Honda.
Yeah, really good start to Matt Neal. We saw him starting from the back, and he is working hard to move his way up the order. Chilton still controlling this race at the moment, but Giovanardi and Thompson, he's back in front of Thompson. Good racing between these two, but Matt Neal is right there with them now. And then, as you say, it's James Kay and Rob Collard in the second of the Team RAC cars. Now, here we are riding on board with Matt Neal.
Matt Neal struggled with qualifying. The car didn't have the pace it had in the media day. They've moved back on the car setup towards a more traditional setup from last year. And Matt, the typical racer, charging from the back. He's now right up behind Thompson, who, let's face it, started third on the grid.
Yeah, so Matt Neal up to 7th position from the back. And we gather the safety car's going to be back out on track. And meanwhile, I'm just looking down the back straight, and Turkington was under attack then from Gavin Smith a moment ago. And Smith almost had a run. There's the reason. Proctor is out. Mark Proctor into the gravel. That's the reason the safety car has been called. Now, this is the onboard Matt Neal. There was David Pinkney, who was just left on the grid. Mike Jordan also was very slow away.
Yeah, all the way around the outside. He's alongside Mark Proctor. Dives round on the brakes. That's a fantastic start. He's passed 4 cars straight off the line.
Tom Chilton sets off in front as the restart takes place at Brands Hatch. Second place is Colin Turkington. Third place for Gavin Smith, then it's Jason Plato in the Seat, and immediately on the attack is Colin Turkington in second place, but not close enough to attack Tom Chilton into Paddock Hill Bend. Now up to the hairpin, Chilton covers the inside line and holds the curve on the inside just to make sure there's no space for Turkington.
No, very good line there, but he's defending coming down the hill as well, which makes him slow through Graham Hill onto the bottom of the bend, and they're just queuing up. In fact, Turkington got too close to him. Smith nearly ran into the back of him, and that's why they've got this concertina effect down the back.
On board with Jason Plato, this is the view at the back of Gavin Smith's Vauxhall, and he was tapped the back of him already, and he's going up the inside, and he's hit him! He's hit him, Smith gets sideways, Plato's lost a lot of ground there. Oh! And it's big, big problems for Plato, and he's out surely. Could well have damage to the car there, and Plato, what a disastrous start.
Well, it all went wrong there. He so nearly saved that. I thought he had, but clearly there's something wrong with the car. That all started at Graham Hill with a small... Yeah, look, the car's not... He's trying to rejoin just to get some manufacturer points. Look at the angle of the steering wheel. He's having to turn the wheel 3/4 turn to the right, and there's the damage on the rear of the car. Now, it's interesting because Ben and I looked at that car in the pits and we felt they were susceptible to damage. There's the tap there. That's the initial tap, but then Smith keeps his boot in, and there's the contact with the rear.
That was Giovanardi, in fact, who hit the back of the car. It was Giovanardi, I think. Oh, my goodness. What's happened down? Somebody's gone off down there, taken out one of the posters at the side of the track. Giovanardi, we believe, has gone off down on the back straight into Surtees. So it's happening everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was Smith hit him first, then Giovanni did the damage to the back of the back suspension.
Now, let's see. This is what happened just a moment ago. Let's just see what happened up ahead, I think. Oh, no, I see. Giovanardi tried to wall. This is how it looked from his point of view. Bosh! Straight into the Dunlop banner on the outside there. And a big spin. I mean, they're doing about 110 mile an hour down that back straight.
115 miles an hour at least, but he should have stayed on the inside and not moved across to take the racing line when he wasn't clear. But this is the battle up front, and Turkington is still on the back of Chilton.
So Tom Chilton continues to lead for Vauxhall. Team RAC in second place for Colin Turkington. James Thompson in third for Seat. So we've got three different types of car there in the top three places. Matt Neal is now up into fourth position. He's got ahead of Gavin Smith. Look at this battle for the lead. Turkington trying to go right round the outside of Chilton. That's a brave attempt. Surely he's not going to make that one work. He's almost on the grass on the exit.
The driving between Turkington and Thompson is very close. Thompson looks up the inside. That's a good move. That's a good move. Cleanly up the inside. Turkington gives a little bit of room, and that was a good pass.
But now Matt Neal might get a chance to get a run on these two as well. Look at how he's closing up. Now, as they come across start-finish line, about 125 miles an hour, nearly 130. Turkington wants his place back, and in the meantime, Matt Neal is getting ever closer to the two cars.
I actually think all three of these cars are actually quicker than Chilton, but they're fighting amongst themselves and allowing Chilton to drive his normal line, and he can keep that gap. Look at behind. Because Chilton was defensive, Turkington gets a run on Thompson, and here we go again.
Well, he's reclaimed second place. That was pretty brave. He had all four wheels on the grass at one stage, but Thompson's back down the inside.
Watch for Matt Neal behind. Watch for Matt Neal behind. Can he get his nose up the inside of Turkington and take a place? Turkington's moving back across.
Oh,
Matt Neal's completely on the grass.
My goodness, that was very, very dangerous. They're doing 120 miles an hour at that point, and he was on the grass completely. We've seen some big accidents there in the past, but both of them got away with it. Let's take another look at all this. This was the battle between Turkington and Thompson. We're on board with Matt Neal as they came into clear way.
Yeah, this was a great move. Last-minute lunge up the inside. Of course, it delays Turkington. Matt Neal sees the opening. He's got a perfect run through the corner. Goes up the inside. Turkington moves to take his line. And Matt Neal, literally all four wheels on the grass, could have been in the wall so hard then. And look, here we go. He's done it. He's up the inside. Chilton's given him room.
Thompson takes the lead. James Thompson takes the lead for Seat. Tom Chilton, who's led every lap until this point. Now, can he come back at him? Chilton has pole position. He's tucked in behind James Thompson. He's going to surely have a go into Paddock, but Thompson keeps the inside line, and he can't quite do it. So James Thompson, on his return to British Touring Cars, takes the lead. But Chilton's still holding on to second place, but it's so marginal. A little bit of a tap there from Colin Turkington. This is all pretty much justified stuff in touring cars. as long as you don't bump the guy completely off, then a little bit of contact is pretty much expected. And Turkington again applying the pressure. Look at this. He's trying to go to the inside. Meanwhile, this is an opportunity for Matt Neal to go around the outside. Matt Neal, no, just a bit of a nudge, but he can't get through.
Yeah, that Turkington knew what he was going to do there. Come out of grave. Oh, Matt Neal up the inside. Hello, I'm here. Wow.
That was a pretty aggressive piece of overtaking from Matt Neal,
yeah.
And he's now up into third place. Mike Jordan catching that group. That's an amazing effort on his first outing in the white and blue car in the background, but he's closing up. But there's no doubt about who's going to win this first race. It's James Thompson. It might have been a slow start off the line, but the Seat has worked brilliantly in the race conditions, and James Thompson fought throughout that race. He's taken victory for Seat. Second to Tom Chilton of Vauxhall. Third place goes to reigning champion Matt Neal from the back of the grid. Colin Turkington takes fourth, ahead of Mike Jordan in fifth. The result of the first race, James Thompson takes victory for Seat ahead of Tom Chilton. Matt Neal coming up to third from the back of the grid. Colin Turkington fourth, and Mike Jordan an excellent fifth on his debut. Gavin Smith sixth ahead of Rob Collard, James Kay. Jason Hughes took ninth place, and Martin Bell finished 10th on his debut in the BMW. James Thompson starts race 2 from pole ahead of Tom Chilton, then the champion Matt Neal, who gained 12 places in race 1. Turkington is 4th ahead of the Team Eurotech with John Guest car of Mike Jordan. Gavin Smith Vauxhall is 6th. The Team RAC machine of Rob Collard is 7th, followed by Kay, Hughes and the rear-wheel drive BMW of Martin Bell. Mark Smith is 11th, followed by those that had problems earlier. Shedden suffered a broken throttle cable, Giovanardi and Plato had damage, Proctor ended up in the gravel, and neither Pinkney nor Fiona Leggett got away at the initial start. We're all set for the second race of the day here at Brands Hatch. James Thompson now with maximum ballast on board his Seat. He's got 45 kilos of lead in that car. Can he get it away from pole position? He made a poor start in race 1. Tom Chilton on the outside of the front row in the Vauxhall. Away they go. And this time again, the Seat not particularly quick. The best of Colin Turkington from the second row in the MG, the Team RAC car. But Chilton and Thompson are side by side through the first corner. Thompson holds on to the lead. Turkington muscles his way into second position.
Great start by Turkington. Just squeezed himself between Chilton and Neal and got into second. The two Vauxhalls are out wide there.
Chilton. That was Chilton out wide, and I think he's managed to recover, but that's disastrous. We've got Martin Bell in the BMW spinning.
Yeah, he just got forced out wide, Tom Chilton, onto the marbles out at Druids, and there's just no grip there. The cold tyres on the rear slid round and he was gone. Yeah, this is on board with Chilton round the outside of paddock. That's again the dirty side. Thompson at the inside. What we can't see is Turkington up behind Thompson on the inside, which forces Chilton to stay out wide. There he is. He stays out wide. He's on the dirty part of the thing. He turns in. Rear's gone round. He's powering into the slide. You can hear the revs rising. He saves it. Now dirty tyres still, but look at all the positions he's lost.
Colin Turkington, there he is, car number 6, keeping the pressure on the double former champion James Thompson. Turkington a race winner, but yet to be a champion in British Touring Cars. There's the reigning champion in third place. It's Matt Neal, still under some pressure from the Vauxhall of Gavin Smith. Then that little gap back to Mike Jordan, the independent, running in his first British Touring Car meeting, and a solid 5th place at the moment. He's managed to ease away there from Rob Collard, and Tom Chilton still in a battle with Gordon Shedden. Mike Jordan again having a look at the inside. There's a little bit of a nudge there. Oh, he's certainly becoming a touring car driver now, isn't he? But has he got enough of a run here? No, and he could be in trouble from Shedden.
No, he realised that he was going to be on the wrong side. Now's an opportunity, but they both run wide. He realised he wasn't going to get round the outside, and if he wasn't careful, he was going to lose that position to Shedden. But so he sensibly tucked back in, but he's getting very quick here. And of course, Plato's caught right up behind him. Plato's up the inside of Shedden.
Well, Jason Plato's taken full advantage of all this battling going up ahead, straight down the inside of Gordon Shedden. We're on board with Jason Plato, and now we're looking at the back of Mike Jordan's car up towards Paddock Hill Bend. So Jordan now, instead of having his mirrors filled with Gordon Shedden, a relative rookie, has now got one of the seasoned professionals right behind him, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Here's the leaders, and in fact, Thompson is now starting to get away from Turkington, and Matt Neal's car starting to look better. Of course, the Dynamics Integra was very good on its tyres last year. That was one of its strengths. It lasted the race so well. And, I mean, Thompson's doing a fantastic job here to hold the lead with maximum ballast, but I think we're going to see Neal come on fairly strong and put Turkington under pressure. It's just a case of can he get past before Tomo gets too far away.
14 and a half laps have been completed. We're on lap 15 out of the 24. No safety car periods as yet in this race, unlike the first race when we saw the safety car out there a couple of times. And Thompson is definitely, as you say, opening up that advantage. Look behind
Incident
in the battle for fourth, because Smith's still fourth, but Jordan's now got Jason Plato and Shedden on either side. Shedden it is who takes advantage of it.
Yeah, Plato actually put Jordan sideways at Clearways, and Jordan did well to save it, and in the melee, Shedden got a run at both of them. Plato comes in very late, across the curve on the inside, gets into the side of Jordan, who flicks sideways. That slows the both of them up. Plato's on the left, and of course Shedden, unseen, has had a great run up the inside. Look at Plato around the outside. Now, well, this could be interesting, because there's a chance here for Jordan to get up the inside as well. Plato's trying to move across in front. Shedden isn't going to let him. Jordan's gone to the outside.
Oh, no! They hit each other! Jordan gets collected in it as well! Oh, what a shame as they come into Paddock Hill Bend. And what was going on there?
Here we are into Paddock. Plato's trying to close the door. Shedden's keeping the line, and then there's just a little bit of contact. Poor old Mike Jordan's trying to stay out of it, but just gets collected as they run wide.
Giovanardi's running in behind Chilton, so the Vauxhalls there are 7th and 8th. Lead Vauxhall is still that of Gavin Smith. He's still holding on to 4th position. You're looking there at Chilton behind Collard. Thompson now only has the final bend at Clearways, turns in there nice and neatly, not under any pressure really from Colin Turkington. They come out of Clearways and Clark Curve onto the Brabham Straight, accelerating all the way, and it's going to be 2 out of 2 for the former double champion James Thompson. He wins for Sayat. Second goes to Colin Turkington, third to Matt Neal, and then it's a long gap, and I think it's going to be Gavin Smith who holds on to take 4th place for Vauxhall. 5th goes to Jason Plato, with Rob Collard following him home. The result of the second race of the day, Thompson making it 2 out of 2, Turkington taking 2nd place for Team RAC, and Matt Neal holding on to a sensible 3rd. Gavin Smith top Vauxhall in 4th, ahead of Jason Plato. Rob Collard was 6th, Tom Chilton struggling a little bit with the ballast in 7th, then Fabrizio Giovanardi in 8th place, James Cave finished in 9th, and David Pinkney finished 10th.
So it's time now for race 3 live. Here is your crack commentary team, Tim and Ben.
We're all set for the start of the 3rd race of the day. There are 2 formation laps. We're on to the 2nd formation lap now, and we're going to see how they all come out at the end of this. Now, Matt Neal has had a good run so far. He's in 3rd place. He was in 3rd place in that 2nd race. He's got to start a little bit further back on the grid, of course, for this one with the reverse grid. There he is, getting some tyre temperature up. He's on the 3rd row. We'll see if we can get a quick word with him. Then to Matt. Matt, how are things building up towards this final race of the day?
Okay, thanks mate. We've had a little tweak of the setup. We're carrying the same weight as the second one, and looking forward to getting on with it.
Okay, Matt, let me tell you that the stars are looking good. You and I share the same birthday, and the horoscope says Mars offering you the chance to stamp on life's accelerator, so go for it.
Well, there we go. I can't argue with that. Cheers, mate.
Okay, well, let's see how Matt Neal gets on here as he lines up on the grid. But on pole position, Tim, we've got Tom Chilton, who was on pole earlier on, and he's not carrying any ballast.
No, lucky Tom. He gets the from the draw for the grid. He gets pole with no ballast, and those behind him with ballast. Plato probably the strongest with only 9 kilos, but it's definitely young Tom's best chance to win this weekend.
Well, the car's just beginning to move into position on the grid. Keep an eye on some of the other ones a bit further down. Colin Turkington has been very quick throughout the course of the weekend so far. Matt Neal, of course, the reigning champion, coming from the back in that first race. We're all set to go for 24 laps of the 1.2-mile Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch. 2 race wins have gone to James Thompson, but he now starts back in 7th place on the grid. Tom Chilton looking for Vauxhall's 100 touring car victory. Can it be here at Brands Hatch today? Away they go. Chilton makes a good start for pole, but watch out for Jason Plato in the silver and yellow Seat. He's moved straight into 2nd place from the 2nd row of the grid, and Jason Plato's going on the attack as Tom Chilton leads them through Paddock. Matt Neal a little bit wide, but holds on to 3rd.
Yeah, good start from Chilton. Fellow front row starter Collard bogged down, and that gave Jason Plato just a fraction of an inch to squeeze up the inside, and he's straight away into 2nd place.
So it's Turkington third, then Matt Neal fourth, then James Thompson. Now James Thompson, winner of 2 races so far already today. Can he make it 3 out of 3? That's only been done once before in British touring cars. Danny achieved that at Thruxton last year. The tall order here at Brands on a tough and tight circuit. Tom Chilton leads, but right behind him, Jason Plato. Now these two have been having a war of words in the press even before this season began.
Yeah, I can't make too much of that, but Chilton is the youngest man on the grid, and he's been taunting Plato, saying he's too old. Plato says, what's he ever done to give him the credibility to say that? So let's see who wins this little battle.
They've got a car that's just come out of the pit lane. That was James Kay up ahead, and he came out of the pit lane there, had problems, and he's going to try and keep out of the way of the leaders. It's Chilton from Jason Plato in second in the Seat, then Collard, it is in third place. I said it was Turkington earlier, of course it is Rob Collard running in third place. He's ahead of Matt Neal, and then it's James Thompson ahead of Colin Turkington, who's running in sixth.
Yeah, initially now we're seeing the same pattern as the last 2 races, where the Vauxhall is quick to start with. Let's see if they can hold their tyres together. This is on board with Collard, not far behind Plato. The MGs as well have been quick on the start. Rob says he's made some changes for this last race. They're fine-tuning these vehicles in each and every race.
Yeah, Rob Collard then now seeing if he can get up to and past Jason Plato. It's a great start off the line by Plato, but look at the way that Tom Chilton's been able to ease away on that last lap, fastest lap there to Tom Chilton. Lights ablaze already, and Plato's having to go a bit defensive as Collard pushes him.
Well, let's wait and see, because Tom Chilton set the fastest lap in the first race very early on, and then had a train of cars queuing up behind him. That's a great shot from behind Plato's car. He'll be happy if that MG stays that far away from him, but I don't think it will.
It might get a bit tough as we go through this race. And right behind Collard is Matt Neal, of course, so watch out for Matt Neal. He's picked up some useful points already. He's got James Thompson behind him as well, and here they come out of clearways. They're now building up to maximum speed as they come onto Brabham Straight. About 125, 126 miles an hour across the line. They're still accelerating a bit more as they approach Paddock Hill Bend, and now onto the brakes. Anybody going for position? Not just yet. They seem to be just settling in, watching each other.
Yeah, there's a little bit of looking at the moment. This is the early doors stage. We're just waiting for the tyres to settle in and see who's got some pace, but as you say, they're very, very nose to tail at the moment.
Yeah, it's tight, but Tom Chilton so far so good controlling it, and Mike Jordan is out of the race by the look of it. Now, he was so unlucky in the second race, nowhere to go, ended up with contact with 2 other cars, and it looks as though that may be the end of the day for him. Tom Chilton continues to lead through 30. Jason Plato a little closer again in the Seat in second, and then it's the Team RAC car. Rob Collard holding off the reigning champion Matt Neal.
Yeah, several different lines there through clearways, but each working his car the best way he can. But we're just starting to see Plato inch up towards Chilton. Here we are on board with Matt Neal, middle of the road, turning in quite early, carrying a lot of speed as Matt likes to do. He runs out wide, but he lets the back of the car just turn it well. On the brakes, quite late into Drury's, little lock up there from the rear of Collard's car. That doesn't hurt at all. It's just the unweighted wheel locking up, and Matt's gaining inch by inch.
Inch by inch, but so is Plato on Tom Chilton for the lead of this race. Look ahead, because Tom Chilton, the 21-year-old, is under pressure from former champion Jason Plato, who wants to put the youngster in his place. He's seen the words in the press and he wants to show him what he can do, but Plato's very, very close. He hits the back of Chilton there. A little nudge, he's on the inside. This is the chance that Jason Plato's going to try and grab. They're side by side as they come onto the straight.
Well, that's classic Plato, isn't it? Absolute classic Plato. Run just a little bit hot into the corner. If he gets a chance to look at Collard, he's taking advantage as well. Good move, and Matt Neal's inching. He may get an overlap and up the back, but that was classic Plato.
Yeah, Plato just squeezes his way through. Rob Collard up into second place, so really taking advantage of that moment for Tom Chilton. Now we're riding on Matt Neal's car, and he's got Tom Chilton right ahead. Now, Chilton's lost 2 places. The car was looking as though he was sliding a bit through here last time round. Looked pretty clean this time, and there's no opportunity for Matt Neal into the left-hander.
Yeah, carrying a good lot of speed through there. Matt Neal, does he get close enough? Not on this lap. Chilton defends, but we've seen Matt go for gaps that are smaller than that into clearways.
Yeah, he'll go for anything if it's offered, but Plato it is who leads, and it's looking good here for Seat, isn't it? They had the 2 wins earlier on, and now it's their other guy, Jason Plato, who's leading this one. Second for Collard, third for Tom Chilton, and Matt Neal is now bearing down on him. James Thompson still running well. He's in 5th place, and remember, Thompson is carrying 45 kilos of lead ballast as a result of winning the previous race, so that car will struggle a little bit carrying that weight, although although it was pretty impressive in race number 2 earlier today. Right in behind him, we've got Colin Turkington, Fabrizio Giovanardi, the Italian superstar, 7th, and it's all getting a bit bunched up in the background. Here comes Thompson, trying to make a move on Turkington.
Yeah, it's a very similar pattern to the races we've seen before, where the Vauxhall just tends to lose a bit of front-end grip after 4 or 5 laps, and then it becomes a roadblock, and when Chiltern drives defensively, everyone behind falls over themselves.
This is wonderful battle coming up here, isn't it? Matt Neal holding on to 4th place. We've got a problem for Fiona Leggett. She, I think, has had a little spin coming into clearways. She rejoins the fray, but it's so tight. And if you look towards the back of this group, 2 Vauxhalls there. Giovanardi there has got right behind him his teammate Gavin Smith. Both of those Vauxhalls desperate to get on terms here, and they're right in behind James Thompson. Here we are with Giovanardi, 7 times the touring car champion, but he's never raced in the UK in the touring car series, so he's learning all the time.
Yeah, he is. He's using all the road and more, though, so he's learning fast, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Giovanardi use some of that class and experience and guile that we saw from the forerunner in that team, Ivan Muller. It's just fantastic when it all works out. But the moment, yeah, he's still learning, and it's been a baptism of fire. At the front, though, Plato is stretching it away. But at the back of that little group behind, we've got Pinkney and Shedden who have joined in the battle, and Shedden's got the fastest lap. He's going up the inside of Pinkney behind the screen there, and he gets through. He's got the fastest lap. That second Dynamics Honda.
Yeah, the Team Halfords car, new driver there, Gordon Shedden, who's had a pretty miserable baptism himself this weekend so far, had a broken throttle cable earlier today, and then in the second race, the incident with Jason Plato. But Shedden, as you say, with fastest lap in this race, he's definitely got pace. It's Plato, his mum watching, looking nervous. It's always a nightmare for mums watching, but Jason's doing the business at the moment, isn't he? He's gradually drawing away from Rob Collard. This is a brand new car, this Seat Leon. It's being raced in the World Touring Car Series as well, and it's here in the UK really for the first time. They've done some testing over the winter, but it is showing real performance.
It really is. It's been the class car this weekend. I mean, last year when we came here, the Honda looked absolutely invincible, and really and truly the Honda hasn't quite lived up to its billing as the best car and the best on the tyres, and it's been the Seat, the new Leon, fabulous looking car, that's really been the class of the field this weekend. And Plato really should be untroubled now. He's only got a tiny bit of weight on. I'm not sure why he's got the lights on, the wipers on. I hope it's not raining.
Well, that will certainly add to the mix, won't it? I don't think it doesn't look too bad as we look out of our commentary box window. Looking reasonably clear, but we'll keep an eye on that as Plato comes out of clearways. Again, the wiper's just on. He might have just knocked the lever on, I suppose.
He might have done, and he's too busy to switch it off, or he's not sure where the switch is, but he's certainly gaining, and the lap times are still full dry times.
10 laps completed. We go on to lap number 11, and it's the race that's going on here for 3rd between Tom Chiltern in the Vauxhall with the green fronts, the red and white back to the car, and then Matt Neal having a look up the outside into Druids. He wasn't quite alongside enough there to have a go, but it's really 3rd place that's under the most severe pressure here. So far so good for Tom Chiltern, and we're now right behind Chiltern with Matt Neal, looking for the opportunity. Chiltern now has got the weight of a manufacturer's hopes resting on his shoulders. Quite a different thing for a young driver in British touring cars. The last couple of years he's had a team based around him as a driver. Now he's got to represent Vauxhall.
He has. It's a very different job. He's now a paid professional driver with the responsibility that goes with it, and it is a different thing, but he's rising to the challenge. He's young, he's fast, he's confident, he's got that little bit of arrogance about him, and he's going really well.
Gordon Shedden's going well too, because I think he was about to get past Gavin Smith back there, and that will move him up into 8th place. Yes, he got past, so Gordon Shedden has gained another position here, and showing that the Team Halfords car still running very quickly. Leaders come down the hill, still Chiltern fending off Matt Neal for 3rd place currently. Colin Turkington's in there, so is James Thompson. The winner of the earlier 2 races here today, a little bit more muted in this race. Up through 30s into clearways, and still it's Chiltern holding that 3rd position, but Matt Neal again fairly close on the exit of the corner. This is where engine power comes into play.
Engine power and traction off the corner, but they're fairly equal. I mean, Matt is just looking to push Chiltern into some defensive moves and take advantage, but Matt's been very canny this weekend. He knows he hasn't perhaps had the fastest car, so he had a problem in the first in qualifying, had to start from the back, but he's already picked up 2 third places, so he's driving cannily.
Yeah, Matt Neal's got to be careful there. He's had to think about going on the outside of the hairpin, but if he does that, of course, he opens up the door for Colin Turkington in the second Team RAC car right behind him. And Turkington and Matt Neal have already had a little bit of a coming together here today when Matt Neal managed to push his way past coming up to this section of the track. So Matt Neal here can't afford to drift wide himself, otherwise that MG immediately behind him will be through. Good tidy line from both drivers. Watch the car ahead. Watch for little signs of him perhaps running too wide on the exit of a corner or kicking up the dirt. No such signs like that at the moment. Chilton seems to be driving within himself.
He's driving very well. I mean, this reminds me, this scenario, so much of when young James Thompson, in fact, went to Vauxhall and John Clellan was the king. He upstaged him, and really Chilton's doing the same to Giovanardi at the moment.
Yeah, Giovanardi not showing great form at the moment. He talked to me yesterday, said he's not quite got the car set up the way he likes, but surely the experience of the tracks will be hard. Here comes Matt Neal. Now he's got a real chance to get the overlap into Surtees. Does he go for it here? He's got to hold on to that inside line. He's through. He's through. Matt Neal has taken third place, and now he's going to be followed, is he, by Colin Turkington and James Thompson. They're both trying to take advantage.
Yeah, Turkington was really trying hard to get up the inside as well, but that was a perfect move. Matt waited for his opportunity, put Chilton under a bit of pressure, made him drive defensively, and just got that tiny overlap. And expect to see Matt stretch it away now.
Yeah, this is the view from Matt Neal, looking back at that group. Can he open up that gap? Look how wide they go there. That's the correct line, and here's a chance for Turkington down the inside of Chilton. Chilton left the door open, and he might lose another one here to James Thompson as well. Thompson might give him a bit of a squeeze as they come down the hill. Chilton just holding it, just holding that position, but he has lost one more there to Colin Turkington, and it might be Thompson's opportunity as they come to the left-hander. Can't quite get in there.
No, not quite, but it's so difficult. Poor old Tom Chilton, you know, he knows that the tyres are going off. There's nothing he can do about it. He's fighting a rearguard action, but as he loses grip from the front tyres, the other cars can turn tighter and get that overlap, and then they're through. But very difficult for a driver to cope with that.
15 laps out of 24 completed. Jason Plato leads. Rob Collard second. Matt Neal now third. Colin Turkington in fourth. There we are with our race leader. We've got Tom Chilton in fifth place. James Thompson sixth. And it's Giovanardi, Shedden, Gavin Smith, Dave Pickney up there in 10th place. Jason Hughes. Notice that Mike Jordan did go back out on track, but he's several laps down. And those are the cars that are still running at this stage. And that man is leading. It's Jason Plato. The car looks so stable through this section. I was watching on that part of the circuit yesterday. The back end of that car is nailed to the road.
Absolutely, it really squats down and goes round. And watching Jason behind the wheel, he's so relaxed. It's almost looks like a Sunday drive. I mean, he's going to get out and say, well, that was easy, folks, you know. And at least he'll look, oh, we've got an overlap now between Shedden and Giovanardi, and Shedden's got the inside line.
Yeah, another place gained by the looks of things for the young Scots, Gordon Shedden, really making his proper debut in British touring cars, certainly under one class. He's raced under a multiple class system in the past, but a big opportunity for him this year. He's got past a 7-time touring car champion there. He can feel pretty happy about the feather in his cap there. And Giovanardi obviously struggling this weekend to really get onto the pace, and through the left-hander, still Shedden just opening that up now. The next one he's going to try and get past is James Thompson. Not going to be easy. We know that Seat has been quick all weekend. Further back there's Gavin Smith in the third of the Works Vauxhalls, and Dave Pickney right behind him, an experienced racer, should we say veteran racer, Tim, but he loves it, loves his motorsport.
Well, I mean, he's certainly the most colourful character on the grid. You know, who else would have a pink car? But look at him, the guy is racing, you know, with a chap that's in a factory Vauxhall. He's going to be loving this.
Yeah, Pickney there has bought one of the cars that Team Halfords ran last year, so he's got a great car and he's making the most of it. There's the race leader though. It is Jason Plato who continues to lead as they come down the hill. Rob Collard doing well in second place, Matt Neal in third. Consistent run for Matt Neal as he goes into the defence of his championship. But doesn't look like he's going to win any races here at Brands Hatch today, and there's going to be a little bit of head scratching going on. They're going to find a little bit more pace. These Seats are looking very, very threatening. Look how Pickney, he's catching Gavin Smith over these laps. He's really very, very close now to the back of the Irishman's car.
Well, Pickney said to me this morning that he woke up at 3 o'clock and he knew what the answer was. So there's a guy taking his racing seriously. He's really thinking about it, and he's had a bit of bad luck in the first couple of races. Didn't get off the line in the first race, but now he's starting to to build on that experience.
Local team, Motorbase Performance Base, just down the road from Brands Hatch, so it'll be a tremendous result if they can score some good points here today on their debut in the Touring Car Championship. It's a different step for them to take this year. They'll be cheering him on here as he closes on Gavin Smith, and this is the battle for 9th place, and points pay down to 10th, of course, so it's important that he keeps pushing there. Now, 2nd place, meanwhile, Rob Collard in the Team RAC car there. Is he beginning to struggle, I wonder, because Matt Neal seems a little closer, and they're both dropping away from Plato.
Yep, the same sort of pattern as we've seen in the last races. The MGs, not quite as bad as the Vauxhalls, but certainly struggling for a little bit of pace at the end of the race. Matt Neal's car looks pretty strong. He'll be happy with 3rd, but he'll take 2nd if there's a chance.
Finished every single race last year, did Matt Neal. An amazing finishing record, and that's the sort of thing you need to win the championship. It certainly took him to the title. And look how close, though, he is to the back of Rob Collard. Collard, great opportunity, back with WSR with regards to this Team RAC entry. He knows the MG well, and he's just a bit sideways out of that corner, out of Graham Hill Bend, but he held it well. It's all giving Matt Neal a little hint that perhaps he's got a quicker car than Collard, and he's going for it. There's a contact there into the rear wheel of Rob Collard. Now that's dangerous. You can easily break suspension doing that.
Yeah, he can, but that was on the cards all the way through Surtees. You could see Matt Neal carry the speed, turn the car tighter to the left so he could dive to the right. And, well, I mean, it was one, oh, no, that's a big shunt.
Matt Neal off at Paddock Hill Bend, slipped into a spin there with Rob Collard dicing away. The two of them had contact at Clearways before that, and they're both out. And Matt Neal, who finished every single race last year, doesn't finish this one at the beginning of the new season.
Rob just brakes a little bit too late over the bump, and Matt is a passenger and goes straight off. Well, 3rd race of the year, and Matt's already got a no finish. Well, here's a bird's eye view from the back of the camera. Rob's looking around, he's got a good run, and it's just on the braking point. He taps it ever so lightly, but on the rear end of the car, it's enough.
And out goes Matt Neal, and that really is, it's a fast place. They're approaching Paddock Hill Bend at just under 130 miles an hour, and although they had only just started to brake, they wouldn't have taken a great deal of speed off before he was fired off the road there. And Matt Neal out, the reigning champion, out of the 3rd race of the day, and Jason Plato, the former champion who is putting everything into his campaign this year, has got a comfortable lead over the 2 Team RAC cars. Now, Collard has stayed in 2nd, but he's been caught hugely by his teammate, Colin Turkington, who's now up into 3rd position. There you are, look at the 2 teammates, 2nd and 3rd, and behind them, Tom Chilton. Oh, and I gather the red flag is coming out. Yep, the red flag is coming out. The race is being stopped, and with over 75% of the race distance having been completed, that will be called as a race result. So the red flag comes out, and that gives the marshals and safety crews an opportunity to go to work.
Yeah, Matt Neal's still in the car. I think because the impact was on the right-hand side, he's probably winded, and they're being a bit cautious. But certainly we do have a result, and Plato wins. With Matt Neal not finishing, that helps Plato's chances at least, because it's one of the favourites not getting a result. The Team RAC has done a fantastic job. We've got Collard and Turkington on the podium. Turkington's had 2 podiums this weekend, a great result. So, you know, we've seen a lot from this meeting. We've seen the Seats be very good. We've seen Team RAC come back. We've seen Dynamics and their Hondas close to the pace, but not certainly out front. A lot's come out of this.
Yeah, it has. It's a lot to think about after the first meeting of the year. We're on board there with Rob Collard, who finished in 2nd place, but obviously was involved in that incident with Matt Neal, and we're going to have to hopefully get a word with him once he comes back into the pit. And we gather that Matt Neal is okay. He's reported back to his team, so that's good news. But Matt Neal obviously out of that race in very, very dramatic fashion. One of the fastest sections of the circuit. They're still being very, very careful. Of course, there we can see still in the car, and just a little shake of the head.
Right, just came a bit sharp, that was all.
Just hearing in there, just talking to the marshals, and they're being very, very careful. And of course, you have to be so. Any kind of injury to the neck, any violent movement, violent accident like that, you have to be so careful. Matt Neal, big tall chap as well, so you know, they have to be very wary, and it's good to see that everybody taking good care here. But it is Jason Plato who emerges from the 3rd race of the day as the winner for Seat, and that means that Sayat have won all 3 races. And Jason's fiancée, Sophie, there. The wedding should be taking place later on this year. His mum and dad there as well. And Jason Plato, who's getting the round of applause. So a brilliant effort for him. Now, of course, on the results, we'll have to wait and see the official results. They will probably go back a lap on the official results, so we'll wait to see what the full and official result is. But there's no doubt about Jason Plato being the race winner. So here we are. This is how they finished race number 3 at Brands Hatch. Plato the winner, ahead of Collard and Turkington. Chilton in 4th place, Gordon Shedden in 5th, then James Thompson, Fabrizio Giovanardi in 7th, Gavin Smith in 8th place, David Pickney in 9th, and then Jason Hughes taken the final point in 10th place. So the 3rd race of the day is run here at Brands Hatch, and we'll be right back with reactions from the drivers and an update on Matt Neal. Stay with us.
Well, these are the results as they stand, and Matt Neal is okay, but he has gone to the medical centre just to be checked over. And so Jason Plato in the took top honours there, Rob Collard 2nd, and Colin Turkington in 3rd. And here is Jason Plato. At last, a win for you. Maybe not the way you would have liked to, obviously with Matt being taken out.
I'm lost. What are you on about? Matt taken out.
Oh, the way that the red flag came about.
Oh, yeah,
so,
yeah,
it
sure.
was,
I don't know who that was. Was that
yeah,
Matt?
it was Matt.
I mean, it was a great race for us. I mean, we knew coming into this weekend we had pace, particularly race pace. And, of course, what happened after the first race, that kind of put a spanner in the works of a good weekend, really. And, we couldn't quite get the setup right for the second race because we didn't have time. But the 3rd race, the guys worked on the car. It was, the car was fantastic. The lay-on was just mint. And I had a good race with Tom. I just wanted to let him get away and get into a rhythm. And then when my car came strong mid-race, it was time to pounce. But
we saw some lovely moves of yours as usual.
Thank you very much. But the nice thing is we salvaged something from my weekend. I mean, James had a fabulous weekend, and as a team, what Walker we asked for, we've won all 3 races. The Seat Leon is a fantastic car, I have to say.
Of course, you have to say that. Thank you very much, Jason. I'm going to have a word now with Rob Collard, who came 2nd in that race. Rob, just talk us through what went on with you and Matt Neal there, because it looked like you just braked and just nudged him. It looked like a racing incident.
Yes, well, Matt put a move on me into clearway. It's quite an aggressive move, but it's okay. We went up into Paddock Bend, and he just seemed to brake miles early. It just caught me out by surprise. He braked so early, I just tagged him. It's very unfortunate. I know it's a big crash, and I just hope he's okay.
Yeah, we're just going to have a look back there. Talk us through from your point of view, Rob.
Well, like I say, I closed in on the back of Matt. We got a slipstream coming up straight, and he just braked so early, miles early. It's just nowhere near where you need to brake, and it's just caught me out.
What do you think was going through Matt's mind then?
Well, I don't know. He's obviously tried to defend for the corner, or he had a problem. I don't know. Like I say, he was miles slow going into the corner, and just caught me by surprise.
So were you happy, though, with the weekend? You must have been.
Well, for Team RAC, we've had a fantastic weekend. Colin's been on the podium already, and he's driving very well. The car's had good pace. I struggled a little bit in the first 2 races, but we ordered the setup, and the car came very strong in the last race, sorry.
Lovely. Well, thanks very much indeed, Rob.
Thank you.
And if I can ask your teammate, Colin Turkington, to come on in. Colin, a 3rd for you, so 2 MGs on the podium.
Yeah, it's fantastic, for our team. Everything come together quite late, so to be this far up the grid this early in the season is fantastic.
How would you describe your weekend?
It's been really good, to be honest. Every time we put the car out in the circuit, it goes quicker, and for me, I've had 2 podiums and a 4th place, so we're just trying to bag points early in the season and try and keep the momentum going.
And of course, Mondello Park next, Ireland, your home circuit.
Yeah, really excited about that one. I always get a great following in Mondello, and historically the MGs ran well there, so yeah, we're quietly confident.
And I just have to ask you, Colin, about the overalls.
Yeah, they're not really my cup of tea, but
no offence to your team.
It's a lovely suit, but maybe just not the colour.
Thank you very much, Colin. Well done. Lovely weekend. Now then, if I can ask Scott Dennis from Seat to come in and stand here, and I'm going to have to probably go on tiptoe because you're a little bit tall.
Is that better?
Scott, what thoughts for for you then for this weekend? You must be sort of pretty chuffed.
Over the moon, to be honest.
What did you expect when you were coming into this weekend?
We knew the car was strong, and we knew that we were capable of getting podiums this weekend. But to have 3 race wins we never thought we'd have that. And it's a fair testament to the team, really, because the team as a whole came under a fair amount of criticism last year, most of it unfairly. So it's fair reward for them for the hard work they've done over the winter.
And what about James coming back to British Touring Car Championship, getting 2 wins?
Yeah, well, he's deserved it. He's driven very well. You know, we weren't the quickest in qualifying, but we settled for 2nd and 3rd. He's gone out and done the job for us, so yeah.
Now, what happens to your team over the winter? I mean, what do you do? Obviously, you've got a new car now, so how did that all come about?
We got the new car fairly late, or later than we would have liked it, so we did a fairly intensive testing program as much as we could, trying to chase the sun around the world. So it would be some relative and meaningful testing. And it was productive and effective, as you can see today. What we've learned from the car, we put it to good use.
And what about your drivers? Who do you think is the best driver in your team?
All 3 of them. I think they're equally good. And I think when Darren steps in for James as well, he'll surprise a few people.
And do you think James and Jason are going to work well together?
Yeah, I think they demonstrated this weekend that, you know, they can work well together. Jason's in for the long haul in terms of 30 races. We've put all our eggs in one basket as far as the Drivers' Championship's concerned. And for us, the main goal is the Manufacturers' Championship. And I think if we're leading that, then Jason's going to be knocking on the door of the Drivers' Championship come the end of the season.
And what thoughts for Mondello? Is it a circuit that will suit the Seats?
I hope so. Another 3 race wins would be nice.
I bet. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now then, let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship as it stands so far. So James Thompson in the lead there, Colin Turkington in 2nd and Tom Chilton in 3rd.